Chapter 1. The Accident. Rain hammered against the windows of the black luxury sedan as 18-year-old Yoon Seo-ah stared at the glowing city lights outside. Her phone buzzed. "Mother, come home soon. Dinner is waiting." A small smile appeared on her face. To the world, Seo-ah was the perfect heiress of the powerful Yoon family. Beautiful, intelligent, elegant, the future successor of one of Korea's largest corporations. Everyone envied her life. No one knew how lonely she felt. Her father was always working. Her older brother treated her like a child. Her mother loved her, but even that love often felt distant. Sometimes Seo-ah wondered if she truly belonged. The thought disappeared as the driver spoke. "Miss, the roads are slippery tonight." "It's okay," Seo-ah replied softly. Outside, thunder roared. A strange feeling suddenly crept into her chest. Danger. For a brief second, images flashed through her mind. A battlefield covered in flames. A woman wearing a crown. A silver-haired warrior. A tower collapsing. A sword stained with blood. Seo-ah gasped. The visions vanished. "What was that?" she whispered. The driver glanced at her through the mirror. "Miss?" "Nothing." She pressed a hand against her forehead. Lately, strange dreams had been haunting her. Dreams that felt more real than reality itself. Dreams of lives she had never lived. Before she could think further. Bright headlights appeared directly ahead. A truck skidded across the wet road. The driver shouted, "Miss!" Everything happened too fast. The truck spun. The sedan lost control. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. The world flipped upside down. Then darkness swallowed everything. Seo-ah opened her eyes. White. Everything was white. White ceiling. White walls. White sheets. The sharp smell of medicine filled the air. A machine beeped steadily beside her. For a moment, she couldn't remember who she was. Then pain exploded through her body. She groaned. The hospital room door burst open. "Seo-ah?" A woman rushed inside. "Madame Yoon." Her mother. Tears streamed down her face. "You woke up." Seo-ah blinked slowly. "Mom." Madame Yoon grabbed her hand tightly. "You scared me." Behind her stood Chairman Yoon. His expression remained calm, but dark circles rested beneath his eyes. Yoon Min-jae stood beside him. For once, her older brother looked genuinely worried. "You idiot," he muttered. Seo-ah smiled weakly. "I missed you too." Min-jae looked away immediately. Madame Yoon laughed through her tears. The room felt warm, safe, like home, yet something felt wrong. Very wrong. A strange pressure built inside Seo-ah's head. Suddenly, memories exploded. Not one memory, thousands. A queen kneeling before an execution platform. A scientist working inside a futuristic laboratory. A swordswoman fighting monsters beneath a crimson moon. A detective solving impossible murders. A princess standing inside a burning palace. A doctor saving lives during a plague. Hundreds. Thousands. Millions. Life after life after life. Seo-ah screamed. The memories flooded through her mind like a tsunami. Her mother panicked. "Doctor!" Doctors and nurses rushed into the room. Voices echoed around her. "Check her vitals! Blood pressure rising. She's having a reaction." But Seo-ah barely heard them. She saw kingdoms rising and falling, worlds being born and destroyed, faces she had loved, people she had lost, deaths she had experienced, again and again and again. Then suddenly, silence. The flood stopped. Seo-ah gasped for air. The room returned. The doctors stepped back. One of them frowned. "That's strange." Chairman Yoon narrowed his eyes. "What is it?" The doctor looked at a chart. Her condition stabilized instantly. Seo-ah lowered her gaze. No one knew what had just happened. No one could know, because somehow she remembered other lives. 3 days later, Seo-ah remained in the hospital. Her injuries were healing quickly. Too quickly, much faster than normal. Knowledge she had never learned appeared naturally. She could identify medications simply by looking at them. She understood languages she had never studied. She knew medical procedures she had never practiced. It was impossible, yet real. One evening, a doctor entered her room carrying a file. His expression seemed uneasy. "Chairman Yoon," he said. "Can we speak privately?" Seo-ah's father stood. "What happened?" The doctor hesitated. "We found something unusual during Miss Seo-ah's treatment." The room became quiet. Madame Yoon frowned. "What do you mean?" The doctor opened the file. "Her blood type. Everyone stared. What about it? Min-jae asked. The doctor swallowed. It doesn't match either parent. Silence. Absolute silence. Seo-ah felt her stomach drop. Her mother laughed nervously. That's impossible. The doctor didn't laugh. We checked 3 times. Chairman Yoon's face darkened. Explain. The probability is extremely low. The doctor carefully chose his words. So low that we recommend a DNA test. The room froze. Madam Yoon slowly stood. A DNA test? Yes. No. Her voice shook. There must be a mistake. The doctor lowered his head. We thought so too. Chairman Yoon stared at the report for a long time. Then he looked at Seo-ah, for the first time in her life. His eyes seemed unfamiliar, as if he were looking at a stranger. Seo-ah felt cold, very cold. The memories from her past lives whispered inside her mind. Something was coming. Something that would change everything. The doctor placed the DNA request form on the table. No one touched it. No one spoke. Outside, rain began falling once more. Seo-ah looked through the hospital window. For some reason, she felt as though destiny itself had finally awakened, and it was coming for her. Chapter 2. The DNA Test. The hospital room was silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The DNA report lay on the table like a bomb waiting to explode. Probability of biological relationship, 0.0%. Seo-ah stared at the paper. Her mother stared at it. Her father stared at it. Even the doctor looked uncomfortable. Finally, Madam Yoon shook her head. No. Her voice trembled. This is wrong. The doctor swallowed. We ran the test 3 times. No. She stood suddenly. My daughter is Seo-ah. The doctor lowered his eyes. Madam, scientifically, she's my daughter. The room echoed with her scream. Seo-ah felt a strange pain in her chest. For 18 years she had lived in this family, celebrated birthdays, shared meals, called them mother and father. Could a piece of paper erase all of that? Chairman Yoon finally spoke. His voice was cold. Run another test. 3 days later, the second result arrived. The answer was the same, 0%. Seo-ah sat quietly while her parents read the report. No one spoke. Then Chairman Yoon looked up. His eyes were completely different now. Different from the father she knew. Leave us. The doctor immediately exited. The room became silent again. Seo-ah's heart sank. Her father folded his hands. Tell me everything. She blinked. What? Do you know anything about this? The question felt like a knife. Seo-ah stared at him. You think I switched myself at birth? His face remained expressionless. I need answers. Something broke inside her. Not completely, just a small crack. The first crack. That evening, the Yoon family ordered a private investigation. Hospital records, birth certificates, medical archives, anything connected to Seo-ah's birth. Within days, investigators discovered something strange. A nurse named Park Yoon-sil had disappeared shortly after the delivery. No forwarding address, no relatives. No trace, as if she had vanished from the world. The mystery deepened. Then another file appeared. A missing infant report from 18 years ago. A baby girl, born on the exact same night. The possibility became impossible to ignore. The babies had been switched. 1 week later, the investigation found her. The real daughter, Han Ji-won, 18 years old, living with a struggling family in Busan, working part-time after school, no idea who she really was. The Yoon family immediately arranged a meeting. Seo-ah was not invited, but she heard everything, every conversation, every whisper, every excited discussion. The real daughter, the real heiress, the real blood. Word spread through the mansion like wildfire. Servants whispered behind doors. Employees exchanged looks. Even relatives began calling. Nobody asked how Seo-ah felt. 3 days later, the Yoon family's front gates opened. A black luxury car entered. Seo-ah stood at the top of the staircase, watching, waiting. The front door slowly opened. A young woman stepped inside. Long dark hair, beautiful eyes, simple clothing, nervous expression. This was Han Ji-won, the real daughter, the real heiress, the girl who had unknowingly lived Seo-ah's life. Ji-won looked around the mansion with disbelief. It's so big. Madam Yoon immediately burst into tears. My daughter. She ran forward and hugged Ji-won. The girl froze, then slowly returned the embrace. Mother, Madam Yoon cried harder. Behind them, Chairman Yoon's eyes softened for the first time in weeks. My child. Seoa stood silently on the stairs. Watching, nobody looked at her. Not one person. That night, a welcome dinner was held. The entire family gathered around the massive dining table. Ji-won sat beside Madam Yoon, the seat that had always belonged to Seoa. Conversation filled the room. Questions, stories, laughter. Everyone wanted to know Ji-won's life. Her favorite food. Her school. Her dreams. No one asked Seoa anything. She might as well have been invisible. Then Ji-won suddenly turned toward her. Unnie? Seoa looked up. Ji-won smiled nervously. I'm sorry. For what? For taking your place. The room became awkward. Seoa studied her. The girl looked sincere. Confused. Overwhelmed. Just another victim. Seoa smiled softly. You didn't take anything. But before Ji-won could respond, Chairman Yoon spoke. Ji-won belongs here. The room froze. Seoa's smile disappeared. Her father continued. This is her home. A simple sentence, yet it carried another meaning. If this was Ji-won's home, then whose home was it now? Later that night, Seoa stood alone on the balcony. Cold wind brushed against her face. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Yoon Min-jae, her older brother. He stopped beside her. For a moment, neither spoke. Finally, he sighed. This situation is complicated. Seoa laughed softly. That's one way to describe it. Min-jae looked away. I don't know what to say. Then don't. The silence returned. After several minutes, he finally asked, What will you do now? Seoa stared at the stars. Thousands of memories stirred inside her. Queens, warriors, scientists, women who had lost everything and started over, again and again. She smiled. I'll survive. Min-jae frowned. You sound too calm. Seoa looked at him, because compared to dying hundreds of times, being abandoned by one family felt small, painful, but small. The next morning, a family meeting was called. Everyone gathered in the main living room. Chairman Yoon stood at the front. His expression was firm, cold, businesslike. The way he looked during company meetings, not family meetings. Seoa immediately knew something was wrong. Very wrong. Chairman Yoon looked directly at her. Seoa. She remained silent. The investigation is complete. Her chest tightened. Han Ji-won is our biological daughter. No response. We have decided she will officially inherit the Yoon family position. Still no response. Then came the final blow. We think it would be best if you moved out. Silence. Madam Yoon gasped. Min-jae looked shocked. Even Ji-won stood up. Father! But Chairman Yoon continued. The media cannot discover the situation. Seoa felt her heart stop. Move out. Leave. Just like that. 18 years erased. One sentence. One decision. One signature. Gone. She slowly stood. Nobody could read her expression. Because she wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She wasn't begging. Instead, she smiled. A calm smile. The smile of someone who had already lost kingdoms. Lost families. Lost worlds. This wasn't her first ending. And it wouldn't be her last. Seoa looked at the people she had called family. Then she spoke. Understood. She turned and walked away. No tears. No arguments. No goodbyes. Only silence. Behind her, nobody knew they had just thrown away something priceless. And somewhere deep inside her awakened memories. A forgotten destiny was beginning to stir. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3. The Girl Who Lost Everything. Rain poured heavily as Seoa walked away from the Yoon mansion. No servants followed her. No family stopped her. No one called her name. The suitcase in her hand contained 18 years of her life. That was all she was allowed to keep. Behind her, the mansion lights glowed warmly. A place she once called home. Now it belonged to someone else. Seoa stopped at the front gate and looked back one last time. Memories flooded her mind. Birthday parties, family dinners, school graduations, Christmas celebrations. Everything felt distant, like a dream she had borrowed. Then she turned around and walked away, without looking back again. 3 hours later, Seoa stood in front of a tiny rooftop apartment. The room was barely larger than a storage closet. A single bed, a small desk, a broken chair, a tiny bathroom. The landlord handed her a key. This is all I have available. Seoa smiled. It'll do. The landlord looked surprised. Most people complained. Seoa didn't. After all, she had once lived in a palace. She had also once lived in a prison cell. Compared to those lives, this room was comfortable. That night, rain tapped softly against the rooftop window. Seoa sat alone. The silence felt strange. For the first time in 18 years, nobody was waiting for her downstairs. No family, no servants, no luxury, nothing. Suddenly, a flood of memories surged through her mind. A queen sitting on a golden throne, a famous scientist building impossible machines, a swordmaster standing atop a mountain of enemies, a detective solving impossible crimes, a doctor saving hundreds of lives, life after life, world after world. Knowledge poured into her mind. Business, medicine, engineering, finance, combat, politics, languages, everything. Seoa opened her eyes. A faint smile appeared. They took away my family. She looked toward the city skyline. But they can't take away my lives. The next morning, Seoa opened her closet. Inside hung expensive dresses from her old life. She chose the most expensive handbag she owned, an exclusive luxury model worth thousands of dollars. 2 hours later, she sold it. The money became her starting capital. By evening, she had opened a trading account. Most people would be terrified. Seoa wasn't. In one of her previous lives, she had controlled an empire's economy. The stock market looked simple by comparison. 3 days later, her first trade succeeded. Profit. 5 days later, another profit. Then another. And another. Within weeks, her savings doubled. Then tripled. Seoa spent every night studying markets. Every chart looked familiar. Every pattern felt predictable. Knowledge from countless lives guided her decisions. Soon she started attracting attention. Financial forums began discussing a mysterious young investor. Nobody knew who they were. Only their initials. Esa, the investor who never seemed to lose. Meanwhile, the Yoon family held a massive press conference. Han Ji-won officially debuted as the Yoon family's true daughter. Television cameras flashed. Reporters filled the ballroom. Ji-won smiled beautifully beside her parents. The internet exploded. The real heiress returns. The lost daughter found after 18 years. The Yoon family's successor revealed. Seoa watched the broadcast from her tiny apartment. She felt nothing. Until she noticed something. Ji-won was wearing a diamond necklace. Her necklace, a birthday gift from Madame Yoon. Seoa stared for several seconds, then smiled sadly. So that's how it is. Days passed. Her business continued growing. Her investments became increasingly successful. Money no longer worried her. But something else did. A feeling, a strange feeling she couldn't explain, as though someone was watching her. One evening, Seoa attended a business conference under a false name. The event was filled with investors and executives. While walking through the crowd, she suddenly froze. A man stood across the room. Tall, elegant, black suit, silver ring, a snake wrapped around itself. Seoa's heart stopped. The symbol. She knew that symbol. Not from this life, from another. And another, and another. Thousands of years, thousands of worlds. The same symbol, the same organization, the same enemy, the Serpent Society, a secret group that had appeared throughout countless lives. Different worlds, different names, same symbol, same purpose. The man turned. For one brief moment their eyes met. His expression changed. Recognition, shock, then amusement, as though he recognized her too. A slow smile appeared on his face. Seoa's blood ran cold, because in all her memories, nobody was supposed to remember previous lives. Except her. The man touched the silver snake ring, then disappeared into the crowd. Gone. Just like that. That night, Seoa returned to her rooftop apartment. Rain fell outside. The city lights shimmered in the darkness. She stood by the window, thinking, remembering. For 18 years she believed her greatest problem was losing her family. Now she realized something terrifying. The Yoon family, the switch at birth, the accident, the memories, the snake ring, none of it was random. Someone was moving pieces behind the scenes, and somehow, she was at the center of everything. Seoa looked into the night sky. For the first time since leaving the mansion, she felt afraid. Not of poverty, not of loneliness, but of the truth. Because deep inside her memories, a forgotten destiny was beginning to awaken, and it was finally coming for her. End of Chapter 3. Chapter 4. The Hidden Family. The silver snake ring haunted Seoa's thoughts. For 3 days, she couldn't stop thinking about the man at the conference. Why had he recognized her? Why did the Serpent Society exist in multiple worlds? And most importantly, why was she always connected to them? One rainy evening, Seo-ah returned to her rooftop apartment. The hallway lights flickered. Something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. When she reached her door, she froze. Someone was standing there. A woman dressed in a black suit. Elegant, cold, professional. The woman bowed. "Miss Seo-ah?" Seo-ah immediately became alert. "Who are you?" The woman handed over a black envelope. "My name is Kang Hyerin." Seo-ah frowned. "I don't know you." Hyerin lowered her head. "But we know you." Inside the envelope was a DNA report. Seo-ah's eyes widened. The report carried a name she recognized. Kang Group, the wealthiest and most powerful family in Korea. A family so influential that even chaebols feared them. A family rarely seen in public, almost mythical. At the bottom of the report, probability of relationship, 99.99%. Seo-ah stared silently. Hyerin finally spoke. "You are Kang Seo-yoon." "What?" "The missing granddaughter of Chairman Kang." The room became silent. Rain tapped against the rooftop window. Seo-ah slowly looked up. "This isn't funny." Hyerin remained calm. "It isn't." She placed another file on the table. Hospital records, birth reports, DNA documents, photographs, evidence, years of evidence. Seo-ah read everything. Her hands slowly tightened. The switch at birth, the missing nurse, the disappearance of records, the hidden investigations. The Kang family had been searching for her for 18 years. "Why now?" Seo-ah asked. "Why find me now?" Hyerin hesitated, then answered, "Because all Kang children remain hidden until their 18th birthday." Seo-ah blinked. "What?" "It is family tradition." "Even from themselves?" "Yes." Seo-ah stared. That sounded insane. Hyerin continued. "Most Kang heirs grow up under false identities." "Why?" "Protection." Seo-ah immediately understood. The rich attracted enemies. The powerful attracted danger. The Kang family had chosen secrecy. But something had gone wrong. Very wrong. Then why wasn't I found sooner? For the first time, Hyerin's expression changed. The records were erased. Seo-ah's eyes narrowed. By who? Hyerin answered with 2 words. The Serpent Society. The room became cold. Seo-ah remembered the silver ring, the mysterious man, the countless memories, the symbol appearing throughout different lives. The Serpent Society had interfered with her birth. They had hidden her. And now they were watching her again. Why? The next day, a black luxury convoy arrived. Seo-ah was taken to a private estate outside Seoul. Massive gates opened. Beautiful gardens stretched endlessly. Private lakes. Ancient. Ancient architecture. Security everywhere. The estate looked more like a kingdom than a residence. Seo-ah stared quietly. Even the Yoon mansion looked small compared to this place. The main doors opened. Dozens of staff lined both sides. Every person bowed. "Welcome home, young miss." Seo-ah froze. Nobody had welcomed her home in a long time. At the end of the grand hall stood an elderly man. Silver hair. Sharp eyes. Powerful presence. The entire room respected him. Chairman Kang. The ruler of the Kang Empire. The richest man in Korea. The moment he saw Seo-ah, his eyes turned red. For several seconds, nobody moved. Then the old man slowly approached. His hands trembled. "My granddaughter." His voice cracked. Seo-ah stood still. The old man reached out, almost afraid she would disappear. 18 years. Tears filled his eyes. "I searched for 18 years. Something inside Seo-ah softened. This wasn't an act. This wasn't business. This wasn't politics. This was genuine. For the first time since leaving the Yoon family, someone wanted her. Not because of blood, not because of status, but because they had never stopped looking for her. Chairman Kang carefully hugged her. The room remained silent. Many staff members secretly wiped away tears. The lost heir had finally returned. That evening, Seo-ah was shown her family's history. Photographs, records, stories, generations of Kang heirs. Then she discovered something shocking. Her inheritance. The Kang group controlled technology, banking, construction, shipping, healthcare, media, and much more. Their wealth surpassed every other family in Korea. Seo-ah looked at the reports, then laughed softly. A few months ago, she had been the Yoon family's daughter. Now she was the heir to the most powerful family in the country. Life really was strange. Late that night, Chairman Kang entered her study. His face became serious. "There is something you need to know." Seoa looked up. "What is it?" The old man's expression darkened. "The people who hid you? The Serpent Society?" He nodded. "They are afraid of you." Seoa frowned. "Why?" Chairman Kang stared directly into her eyes. "We don't know." Far away, inside a dark room, a man slowly turned a silver snake ring. The same man from the conference. The same man who recognized her. A smile appeared on his lips. "She's finally home." His eyes glowed in the darkness. "And the game can begin." End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5. The Return of the Hidden Heiress. The news exploded across Korea. The lost Kang heiress has been found. Television stations, news websites, business magazines. Everyone was talking about one person, Kang So-yoon, formerly known as Yoon Seo-ah, the girl who had been abandoned by the Yoon family, the girl who turned out to be the heir of the most powerful family in Korea. Inside the Yoon mansion, silence filled the dining room. Chairman Yoon stared at the television. His face was pale. The screen displayed Seo-ah standing beside Chairman Kang, elegant, confident, untouchable. The reporter's voice echoed. Experts estimate the Kang family possesses assets larger than several major chaebol groups combined. Madame Yoon slowly sat down. Her hands trembled. Seo-ah. For the first time since she left, regret filled her eyes. Across the table sat Han Ji-won. She watched the television quietly. Her expression darkened. The girl who lost everything should have disappeared. Instead, she had become even greater. At Kang Estate, preparations were underway. Tomorrow would be Seo-ah's official introduction as the Kang family's heir. Designers, stylists, executives, security teams. Everyone moved quickly, yet Seo-ah remained calm. She sat alone in the library studying documents. Business reports, company structures, investment records. The Kang Empire was enormous, and she understood it faster than anyone expected. Chairman Kang entered. Several executives followed behind him. One of them sighed. "Young Miss learns faster than our senior managers." Another nodded. "It's almost frightening." Chairman Kang smiled proudly, because he knew something they didn't. Seo-ah had not lived one life. She had lived thousands. The next morning, the largest press conference in Kang Group history began. Hundreds of reporters filled the grand ballroom. Camera flashes lit the room. Questions echoed everywhere. Then the doors opened. Silence. Seo-ah entered, wearing a black designer gown, diamond earrings, long dark hair, elegant and powerful, like a queen returning to her throne. The room froze. Even the reporters forgot to breathe. Chairman Kang stepped forward. "My granddaughter." His voice carried through the hall. "Kang Seo-yoon." The cameras exploded. Flash, flash, flash. Questions flooded the room. Where has she been? Will she inherit Kang Group? Why was she hidden? What happened 18 years ago? Seo-ah stood calmly. Her expression never changed. Then a reporter asked a dangerous question. "Miss Kang." The room quieted. "Do you hate the Yoon family for abandoning you?" Everyone waited. Even Chairman Kang looked curious. Seo-ah thought for a moment, then smiled. "No." The answer shocked everyone. "I don't hate them." The reporters blinked. Seo-ah continued. "Hate? I don't hate them." The reporters blinked. Seo-ah continued. "Hate gives people power over you." Her voice was calm. "I simply moved forward." The room became silent. Her words spread across Korea within minutes. Meanwhile, at the Yoon mansion, Madame Yoon watched the broadcast live. Tears filled her eyes. The girl she had raised, the girl she had abandoned, was standing before the entire country, and she looked stronger than ever. That evening, a grand celebration banquet was held. The wealthiest people in Korea attended. Business leaders, politicians, celebrities, foreign investors. Everyone wanted to meet Kang So-yoon. Seo-ah walked through the ballroom. People greeted her constantly. Yet she noticed something strange. A man standing near the balcony, watching her. The same silver snake ring. The same man. The conference stranger. This time he didn't leave. Instead, he slowly approached. The crowd seemed to part naturally, as though they couldn't stop him. He stopped in front of her. Tall, elegant, dangerous. His dark eyes held a strange familiarity, like someone she had known long ago. Very long ago. The man smiled. "Congratulations." Seoa remained calm. You know who I am. It wasn't a question. He laughed softly. Of course. Her eyes narrowed. Who are you? The man looked directly into her eyes. Then he spoke words that froze her blood. You knew me as many names. A pause. In one life I was your enemy. Another pause. In another life, his smile deepened. I was the man you loved. Seoa's heart skipped a beat. Memories flashed. A battlefield, a prince, a pair of golden eyes, a promise beneath a crimson moon. Then the memory vanished. The stranger leaned closer. Looks like you're finally starting to remember. Then he turned and walked away, leaving Seoa standing motionless, for the first time since awakening her memories. She felt truly shaken, because deep inside her soul, a forgotten face was beginning to return. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6. The Heiress of 1,000 Lives. Rain poured over Seoul. Lightning illuminated the sky above Kang Estate. Tonight everything would end, or begin. Seoa sat across from an old woman inside a small countryside house. The missing nurse, Park Eun-sil. For 18 years she had hidden from the world. Now her hands trembled uncontrollably. Tears filled her eyes. I'm sorry. Seoa remained silent. The old woman cried. I never wanted to hurt you. Then tell me the truth. The nurse lowered her head. That night, 18 years ago, a man wearing a silver snake ring entered the hospital. He gave orders. The babies were switched, not by accident, not by mistake, by design. They were afraid of you. Seoa's eyes narrowed. Afraid? The nurse nodded. The Serpent Society knew who you would become. The room fell silent. That night, Seoa returned to Kang Estate. Waiting for her was Lee Rayon, standing beneath the rain, as if he had known exactly where she would be. I finally know the truth. Seoa stared at him. Rayon smiled sadly. No. What do you mean? You know part of the truth. For the first time, his expression became serious. Pain filled his eyes. Ancient pain, thousands of years old. I remember too. Seoa froze. What? Every life. The world seemed to stop. Rain, wind, everything. Raon looked toward the dark sky. I remember every world. The kingdoms. The wars. The futures. The endings. Seoa's heart pounded, because only one person should remember. Her. You. Rayon smiled weakly. In one life I was your enemy. Images flashed. A battlefield. A king in black armor. Blood. Death. In another life. More memories. A prince holding her hand. A promise beneath a red moon. Love. And in another, a scientist working beside her. Two people trying to save a dying world. Tears appeared in Seoa's eyes. She remembered. Not completely, but enough. You were always there. Raon nodded. And so were you. Suddenly, pain exploded inside Seoa's head. Thousands of memories burst open. Every life, every death, every world merged together. She remembered everything. The queen, the warrior, the scientist, the detective, the empress, the mage, the princess, the healer, the strategist, the survivor. Thousands of lives, one soul, one destiny. When she opened her eyes again, the world looked different. Clearer, complete. At that exact moment, alarms erupted throughout Kang Estate. Red lights flashed. Security teams rushed into action. An attack. Hundreds of black-clad figures surrounded the estate. The Serpent Society. Chairman Kang appeared. His face grim. They're here. The gates exploded. Chaos erupted. For the first time in this life, Seoa fought. Her body moved effortlessly. Swordsmanship from one life. Combat training from another. Strategy from hundreds more. The attackers fell one after another. Even the Kang family guards stared in disbelief. Raon fought beside her, as he always had, across countless worlds. Together they pushed toward the estate's center, where a single figure waited, the leader, a black cloak, a silver mask, ancient eyes. The leader laughed. You finally remember. Seoa stepped forward. Who are you? The masked figure removed the mask. Everyone froze. The face was familiar, terribly familiar, not from this life, from another, a life she had forgotten. One of the first worlds, one of the earliest lives, a former friend, a former ally, the one who betrayed her. You, the leader smiled. For 1,000 lifetimes I followed you. Why? Because you are the key. Lightning illuminated the battlefield. The truth finally emerged. Long ago, before any of her lives, before any of the worlds, there existed a door connecting realities. Seoa's soul had become linked to it. Each death, each rebirth, each world was connected to that power. The Serpent Society wanted the door, wanted control over every world, and Seoa was the only one who could open it. The final battle began. Power clashed. Rain fell. The sky roared. Chairman Kang fought to protect his family. The Kang guards held the line. Raon stood beside Seoa. For the first time in 1,000 lives, she wasn't alone. Together they defeated the leader. Together they ended the Serpent Society. Together they protected this world. Weeks later, the truth became public. The baby switch, the corruption, the crimes, everything. The Yoon family publicly apologized. Madame Yoon cried, "I'm sorry." Seoa looked at her quietly, then smiled. A gentle smile. "I forgave you a long time ago." Ji-won lowered her head, ashamed. "I was jealous." "I know." The two women finally made peace. Months passed. Seoul sparkled beneath the night sky. At the top floor of Kang Group headquarters, Seoa stood beside the window, looking over the city that once felt too big, the world that once felt too lonely. Behind her stood Chairman Kang, and Lee Rayon, her family, the family she had finally found. Rayon smiled. After 1,000 lives, he stepped beside her. "What do you want now?" Seoa looked at the city lights. For the first time, no enemies, no secrets, no fear, only a future, a real future. And for the first time in all her lives, she knew her answer. She smiled. "I want to live this one. Far above Seoul." The stars shined brightly, as if every life she had ever lived was finally at peace. Kang Seo-yoon, the fake heiress, the lost granddaughter, the traveler of 1,000 lives, finally came home. At the end,